That was mind-blowing. Do my day job, the head of Pocket Cast. We just went on a private flight with Al Pacino.
And now we're live.
And now we're live.
Now we're live. How you been since we caught up in LA?
I've been really good. When was that? That was the end of March, I believe.
Yeah.
Podcast movement.
Yeah, that's right.
Really enjoyed that one. It was great connecting with you. Always great connecting with Shannon and the other folks, right?
Yeah, she's such a legend. Yeah.
Oh, she's a fantastic human being.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Very much so. I fully agree with that. Do you go to many of those because of your job?
That was my third.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was it your best one because you met me?
In that regard, definitely. Absolutely. I would say, are you going to the one in Washington at the end?
No. That one worked out well because I got like a sponsorship sort of thing to go down there through Podcast Evolution. And then my friend lives kind of like nearby in Long Beach. And I was like, I'll stay there. I'll play pickleball with him. I'll get to go to that. And then, so it was kind of all worked out.
Yeah.
Are you going to go to DC?
Not to DC, not this year. I went to Denver last year and it was fantastic. Yeah. So that was bigger. It felt a little bit more, just the amount of people really. The sessions are still in LA were really interesting. I really enjoyed the session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple where I've really taken some big feedback back. Well, that sounds weird.
Feedback back.
Yeah, brought some feedback with me. Oh God, that still sounds weird. Anyway, so I brought it back, and I've been trying to implement it a bit. And so but it's more the connections that I made. Like, there's a few people that I see their stuff, and I post, and there's a few emails going back and forth. But I think the network. I think people who take a lot from that are the people that can network well.
Absolutely. And the connections are the highlight. I did meeting you were joking before, but meeting you was a highlight for me.
You're saying that because you're on here. You say that to every podcast you're on.
No, I was telling people, there's this podcast, Draw Your Story, and you tell your story, and that I was raving about that.
Oh, thank you. You're going to make this old man blush.
Any chance you're going to the podcast show?
The podcast show? I don't even know about this stuff. I'm like such an island sometimes where I'm just like, I get the podcast out, I get this, I find the next person I'm interviewing, I do the illustration, I hang out with my kids, I high five my wife, and then I get back into it. You know what I mean? I'm not like... the stuff that pops up, like the podcast evolution thing, I seen pop up on my Instagram feed, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll look into that. What's the podcast show?
It's a big conference for podcasting in London in about 2 weeks. I'm going to be there.
That's why you're not going over to DC. You're going to bigger and better things. I see. Nice flex there. You're just like, bam, bam, look at this. Go to London.
I just heard really good things about this conference. People are raving about it. So I'm going to check it out and hopefully meet more awesome people like you.
Well, hopefully they're more awesome. You're bang for your buck for going. I've been wanting to ask, how was the Eclipse? Because you just went to the Eclipse.
That was mind-blowing, that moment. Have you experienced a total eclipse?
Not a total eclipse. I was in Seattle when they had that sort of, I think
2017.
we got and I think we got something like a 65% eclipse or something like that. And that was still wild. But I hear when you're in the midst of it.
The total eclipse is those. This one was relatively long. It was 4 minutes in total, and it's just fantastic. Everything gets dark, everything gets quiet, and you're just experiencing this really once in a lifetime, I guess. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll get to experience that again,
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
unless I become a eclipse chaser,
Oh,
you know.
yeah. Yeah. When that was happening, I was flying to Hawaii, and there was some people at the airport, and we had this big long line. So as I do, I start chatting to people, and there was like three people in that line that were all going down to chase the eclipse.
There you go. Some
Yeah,
people are, and I understand that. It's
yeah.
magnificent. You look
What
up
bl-
and
I so when I was younger, I thought every planet had their own eclipse. So I was like, oh, of course they do. But it's only Earth because of the distance of the moon to the sun and the ratio of it all. So we're just this one planet in the solar system that has this perfect lineup. It blew my mind.
And there are different types of eclipse, even in totality. There are different types of
Yeah.
eclipse, and the radius and the angle of the moon compared to the sun creates this different effect. And this one was pretty rare, like really
Wow.
once in a lifetime rare.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was magnificent just to experience that and to see it with a bunch of friends. It's just
Yeah. Do you know
spiritual in a way.
do you know who I would want to see it with? I want to see it with people that are like, I don't know, like religious conspiracy theorists that are like really out there. And then like they're like, hey, when this full eclipse happens, this crazy thing's gonna happen. And then when they're there and nothing happens, and then see how they react. You know what I
That's a
mean?
great
Like
idea.
that would be like, ha ha, gotcha.
Recording them while they're
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. Like I'd play, like
yeah,
I'll be like a mole and I'll pretend that I'm all into it.
I know.
Yeah,
It's magnificent by itself. That it really doesn't need any more meaning to it, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, all right. Uh, would you like to jump into this?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you 10 questions. I'll do a little intro and then we'll get into it.
Sounds good.
All right, here we are on Join the Store with Ellie, the Eclipse Chaser that we know now. And we're going to jump into the 10 questions. Would you rather breathe underwater or fly?
Fly.
Fly. Why would you like
Yeah.
to fly more than breathe underwater?
It's and I'm semi-surprising myself by saying
Oh,
that because I used to be a competitive swimmer.
oh, really?
Um, yeah, I
What
grew up, yeah,
what type of swimming?
style. So I started with breast swimming and I moved on to butterfly and
Hang on.
I
So
finished.
butterfly is the most made up. Like, there's no.
It's
I've
so
tried butterfly.
hard.
It's so
So
hard.
hard. It's hard.
I look
Yeah.
like I'm a seal that's had their arms chopped off and they're trying to get to the water just to survive. That's what I look like.
I hope it don't look like that,
No,
but
you won't, but I do. I don't know how. This is how I feel. If someone was getting beaten in every race, I can't win the breaststroke. Oh, I can't win the freestyle. You know what? I can beat you in this stroke. And they're like, what is that? It's the butterfly.
butterfly.
Yeah.
It's so, yeah, it's encompassing. I did that for a while. It's hard. It's hard, really hard style. And I finished with freestyle.
Oh,
So,
long distance, short distance.
short distance mostly
Okay.
in competitions.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I love to swim long distance.
Oh,
I could
really?
just, yeah, just let me do pools and
Oh,
for hours. I just love that.
all of my in-laws are all swimmers. So my wife was a diver for a little while when she was younger. My One of my sister-in-laws loves the long distance, like she can swim for miles. Um, my other sister-in-law is a triathlete, and so she
Mm.
swims, bikes, runs, and does. And then my brother-in-law, I think they, other than my wife, they all went to college for some sort of like swimming scholarship.
Oh.
So they're all like master swimmers. Where you see me out there, and I'm like, just let me keep up with me. Yeah,
It's
so,
meditative. and there's different type of thinking when you're in the water. And I'm
Mm,
saying all of this, and yet I chose the flying
that's true. So,
one.
okay, sorry. Why did we choose the flying?
Maybe because I feel like I'm a fish in the water already.
Oh, you can already do that. So why not go the other way?
Exactly. I also, some people fly in their dreams.
Oh,
I never, I used to actually, it's funny, I used to actually swim in the air in my dreams. It's weird. My
I know.
type of flying in dreams is swimming in the air.
So on one of my last podcasts, we were joking about like what happens if you could fly, but you had an awkward style of flying, like you could only doggy paddle, or like you had to do the butterfly. Like maybe that's
Exactly.
yours. Maybe you are. You're like just swimming along.
I was just, yeah, I was just freestyling in the air, or it's like kind of like a jump in the air, and then I'm freestyling.
Oh
It's a
wow.
combination. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to experience real fly,
Yeah.
and being able to go to places without having to go through airport
Oh
security.
my
That
gosh.
sounds cool.
Can you imagine how annoying people would be though if we could all fly and we were all
Yeah,
up
it's
there?
like,
Oh god. There's enough people after
hey,
us on the
watch
ground.
out!
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
People spitting up there or like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. Go down, Doug. Go down to the ground and do it. Stop doing it up here.
Oh, doing it from the air. Yeah. Uh, Magical.
uh, what do you do to pay the bills?
I do my day job, the head of Pocket Cast, and
Yep,
I believe that's connected to how we met.
that is how we
Um,
met, but that's how I know you. But what do you do at Pocket Cast? What is Pocket Cast? And so people that are listening sort of know what's going on.
Pocket Cast is the best podcast player out there, and I say that objectively as a podcast player user.
Yep.
Really giving all the customization options, and you can actually design your listening experience when you're listening on Pocket Cast. It's a saturated market. We have a lot of big competitors, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's Apple, there's Spotify. Um, and I believe that we really give serious listeners what they need to have podcasting as part of their podcast listening as part of their
Yep.
lives. So I do everything at Podcast, everything that you can imagine. I'm the head of engineering and product. I do marketing. Of course, I work with our talented team on all of these things,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's exciting times.
How'd you get involved in this? Were you doing project managing beforehand? Were you doing marketing beforehand? Like, how'd you get wrapped up in this, being the person that wears many hats?
So I'm an iOS developer, or I should say
Okay.
I'm a software engineer, and I started my career as an iOS developer.
Oh, wow. Is this back before they used Swift and they were doing it in,
Objective-C.
yeah, Objective-C, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, was building apps in Objective-C a long time ago. And I was living back then in San Francisco, so working in different tech companies in San Francisco, doing mainly iOS development. And then I joined Automatic in 2018. And I started working on the WordPress app as an iOS developer. And I moved on to leading a team of mobile developers. From there, I moved to leading the whole of WordPress Mobile, the division, the group itself. Um, yeah, and a couple of years later, Automatic acquired Pocket Cast, and when Russell, the wonderful co-founder of Pocket Cast, decided to leave, I was offered to lead Pocket Cast, and I said,
Wow.
"Hell yeah!" Because I love podcasting, and I think this industry is fantastic. And what happened to it in the past few years is really inspiring. So
Yeah.
said hell yeah and went for it.
So, two questions. How often,
Yeah.
when you say, hey, I'm a software iOS development engineer, how many people go, I've got an app that I think
Up
you
for it.
should?
Yes.
Every single.
I'd say, It
It
used to
happened.
be more, you know? It
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
be way more.
Even when I
Now,
was a developer designer, more on the design side, so many people are, oh no, I've got the best website idea. We should work together. I'm like, no, you just want me to make whatever you want, and you think that I don't have a million ideas? Pump your brakes there, Susan.
exactly. So I get that a lot. I used to get that more. Now I get, I would say 50%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Is it
50%.
more people like? Is it more people going like, oh, hey, what can you do? How can you make my podcast get to the forefront? Is that what they?
So it depends who I'm talking to, right? If
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
to podcasters, then usually it's more about that. If I'm talking to people that like apps, then
yeah.
what apps did you work on? And
Mm.
it usually starts with what apps did you work on? And then I said a list of apps, and then they're like, I had an idea once for an app, or yeah.
What? Speaking on that, then, is there any apps that stand out to you as such a good time or a problem that you've solved in that app where you're like, I can't believe we got it to work?
In apps that I worked on.
Yep, yep,
Um, I when I was working before I joined Automatic, I was working for a startup in San Francisco. It was called Twine,
oh
and we
yeah,
were trying to build a robo advisor for couples to invest together, to
yep,
encourage couples to invest together. And we really built the app from the grounds up. There was nothing there, and we built the app. It was a very interesting experience. And the way we did the onboarding, I know you're probably familiar with
yep,
financial apps onboarding. It's brutal, right? You
yeah,
have to put all the information and your address and your SSN and everything that they require. And I think we really did a good job there making the onboarding friendly and inviting, and
yep,
we really saw some success there. Unfortunately, the company did not succeed, so
yep,
it no longer exists. But as a developer, the experience of building that type of onboarding and,
yeah,
and really going through from nothing to something and going through the branding experience and all of that,
yeah,
it's something that I definitely is definitely memorable.
yeah. That's awesome. I love.
Yeah.
Well, one when you've been a designer and then you see a really good experience like that, you're like, there is a good cohesion between the developer, the designer, the UX, UI. You know what I mean? And when that works, oh, it's like
That's
magic. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's something actually that I think the most magic that I felt in that regard is actually in Pocket Cast. The
Yep.
way we work, product works with design, work with our engineer. We're a small team. We're
Yeah,
a
yeah.
really lean team. But the way we work together is one of the best experiences I had in the industry. Yeah.
So you don't have to answer this question because, but you got Spotify that has paid subscriptions. You have Apple, who I'm guessing I don't even know how Apple makes money off of um,
Podcasting.
podcasts. I think it's just them having more users.
Mhm.
How does Pocket Cast make money to fund themselves?
Well, we have subscriptions.
Yep,
So we have a premium subscription and of two tiers. There's
yep,
Plus and there's Patron, where if you want to support us even further, you can be a patron of Pocket Cast.
yep.
And we have ads. We work with fantastic advertisers only in podcasting. We really feel like offering more content to podcast listeners in the podcast world is
Yeah,
important. And so yeah, through subscriptions and advertisement.
that's awesome. It's great that it's like down niche mode for podcasts. I feel like, and not that I would do an advertising in a heartbeat, but I feel like a lot of podcasts, once you listen to them for a while, you're like, oh, A1 Supplements is doing their round of ones. Oh, Vessi Shoes, or this, like, there's ones that hit it all the time, Squarespace and all that. Not that they're not good products, you just see that around, and it's like they're just shotgun blasting, hoping. But the fact that you guys pull it down for podcasters, that's
Yeah,
nice.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. All right, on to the next question. What is something you cannot live without?
Besides my fiance,
Oh, fiance.
yeah,
Is that recent?
it's recent as it was back in September, last
Oh,
September. So it's
cool.
pretty recent, you could
Yeah,
say.
that's pretty
Yeah.
recent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely cannot live without him. Maybe too codependent there, but
That's like me and my wife. I'm just a succubus on her life.
I mean, exactly. That's a good description. I'm gonna use that. Um, besides that, I would say, and my family, of course, I would say yoga.
Oh,
Yeah,
so do
yoga
you
has
do hot
been
yoga? Like, what do you do?
um,
Yoga with
mostly
goats?
yoga or with puppies. Did you
Oh
see
God,
that?
but I could
Uh,
do anything with puppies. Like, you could,
exactly.
whatever
You
it is,
can,
I'm in. Oh,
yeah.
you want to go? Let's go do an execution down in Texas. I'm like, but you got puppies. I'm like, I'm in. Okay, you got me.
Exactly. So, not with puppies. I just do vinyasa, flow, and I do it at home mostly.
Okay.
It changed a lot after the pandemic. I used to go to, well, I was also living in San Francisco, and it's more comfortable to just walk to a yoga studio there. But since the pandemic, I just started doing it at home. There's an app called that I really love called, they used to be called Down Dog. I think now
Okay.
they have a different name. Fantastic app. They give you sequences of poses. You never get the same practice twice,
Yep.
um, and I just love it. It's calming. It's helps me in a lot of ways that sometimes when I travel and I don't have the time to do it as I regularly do. Um, I find that it impacts my serenity and my
Mm.
life in general, the way I think and the way I communicate with other people. It's so helpful.
I
Um,
so I didn't know this until I was older, but that's what drawing does for me. So I've been drawing since as long as I can remember. And my drawings used to be really shit, but I was really into them. And my best mate was like, "Hey, your drawings used to be really shit. Now they're better." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, they were really bad. I could see that you liked doing them, so I didn't mess with you about them." So, uh, but I didn't realize it. But I think that's my form of meditation. So when you're saying like, "Hey, I get like." It really changes my mood and stuff. If I don't draw for a long time, and it could be literally a day or a day and a half, I could be like, I'm like gagging. It's almost like to
exactly,
release that, like whatever's tensions build up. And I'd be like, oh, I drew something, I created, it's out. And it might be something so small, like a goldfish or something. And I'd be like, yep, there we go, done, I'm good.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you on that. All right, yoga. Outside of yoga, outside of hanging out with your fiance, what do you do for fun?
I dance.
You
Love
dance?
dancing. Yeah.
What type of
Uh,
dancing?
it's dancing to any type of music, really.
Oh,
It's not like a professional dancing.
oh, okay.
It's
It wouldn't surprise me if you said, you know what, I used to be a professional dancer. Like,
no, not me.
I miss weddings. So, like, you know how you go through a phase of weddings and you're like at a wedding every time? Now, I don't really get like most of the people I married, or if they're under their like second or third weddings, and I'm like, oh, and now I'm like, oh yeah, let's have them because all I care about is getting to the dance floor. I love dancing. I'll get up and cut a rug anytime I can.
You might be the only person that says that they miss weddings because
Oh,
when you're in that phase, you get invited a lot, and
yeah.
it can be a
Uh,
lot.
I actually like, so I kind of like dressing up a little bit, but I don't wear, like, I probably wouldn't wear a suit every time. I'd wear, like, oh, I'm going to wear these funky pants with a nice shirt. Or, like, still dress nice, but I'm not going to dress, like, here's a black suit or a blue suit that I wore to do that. So I kind of like all of it. I just, I'm like, oh, let's get in there. I just, give me the food. Let's get that. You did your vows. Let's get to the dance floor. That's all it's about. Like, crank the vows out like this and then get to the dance floor.
Just the dancing.
Yeah.
So yeah, dancing is also a big part of my life. I love dancing. I also DJ.
You
I started
DJ as
DJ.
well?
Yeah, yeah. I
What sort of
started
music do
DJing
you
recently.
DJ?
Electronic music, more on the down tempo, is my style. I
Yep.
can DJ. I've
Do
been
you
told that I'm really good at transitioning and mixing, but I still have a lot of practice to do.
do you have a set, like a SoundCloud or anything like that we can link to?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we're done with this, please link. And if you want, I will put your music in the background if you want. Do you want to do that?
We'll choose a good set
You
for
can
that.
choose whatever one you want. You choose it, and then I'll put it in the background.
I'll share the link to my SoundCloud. I'm DJ Monkeys.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah,
going to be epic. That's so
yeah.
rad.
So
So
a lot of
how did you
yeah.
get into DJing? Like, is this something you've always wanted to do? Did you just trip over, stumble, and hit like a deck, and you're like, chicka, 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 oh, yeah, I made it.
Wouldn't that be a great story?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's from my love to dancing as someone that is, when I say dancing, I go to clubs and I go to festivals. It used to be more clubs when I was younger. Now it's dancing at festivals and special events,
Yeah.
um, and you get that connection to the music and you
Uh,
move your body to the beat, so you feel the beat in that way. And I felt really connected, and I was like, everybody's a DJ. Anyone can do
it's like
it.
everyone's got
So
a podcast. It's like,
yeah, exactly. So it's fairly easy to learn, and you just have to feel it. Really, it's all
yeah,
about beat matching, and it's about curating your playlist. Really,
yeah,
that's what it's
cool.
about.
Well, I can't wait
Yeah.
to hear your. And so yours are original beats.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean, not I don't produce my beats. I'm just mixing at the moment, so
okay.
I wouldn't say it's original as
Well,
I produce it, but
the only thing is I worried if I get what's it called, copyright. Will I get
copyright.
will I get
Mm.
copyright if I use yours?
I I purchased my tracks.
Okay.
So actually, I don't know how that works. If
I don't know how it
yeah,
works either.
maybe if more people listen to it. So yeah, maybe you can do just the 5 seconds or whatever the limit
We'll
is
do. I'll
to
look it
not
up
hit the
if you
call.
look it up or whatever. Let's see what we can do. But I would love to
Yeah,
have your beats on here. That would be so rad.
cool.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Um, so when you were DJing, um, what sort of are you watching the crowd to sort of see what to like bring them up or bring them down? Like,
Yeah.
is that
So I recently DJ at and again, just to note that I'm a beginner, so this is
yeah,
all
yeah,
new
yeah.
to me too.
I love
Uh,
beginners.
I I recently DJed at my friend's wedding, and I came with a prepared set that I thought that they would like, and they actually liked it. So, but I did change a few tracks here and there because I thought that it fits the room
Yeah,
more,
yeah,
So you have to
yeah,
read the crowd.
yeah. How often did you play the song "Shout"?
I actually didn't get to play that, but that's a good one.
Oh,
I'm gonna
every
add it to
wedding they
our
got
list.
"Shout."
Shut.
All yeah, every old person like goes down. Hey, hey. They do.
That's a good one. Yeah. So
That's
yeah.
that's my gift to you.
Brilliant.
All right. What is your spirit animal?
A monkey.
A monkey. You know, you're
Yeah.
the second person that said a monkey.
Really? I'm the second monkey you meet.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
it's that I attract them because I'm a bit of a monkey myself. I'm
weird.
more of an
Yeah.
orangutan. I have super long arms. Like I'm a knuckle dragger.
So I used to think that I was a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like cat qualities, and I connected with that. But I think in recent years I became a monkey.
What
Um,
made you feel like you went from a cat who, to me, I think like is sleepy, a little bit mischievous, to like a monkey who's just like bananas. They're just like, whatever. I don't care. Fling my poop. Here's a banana. Let's steal some sunglasses off a tourist.
Oh
I'm not getting that vibe. When we met, I was not like, you know what,
no, more of a
monkey,
chill monkey. Yeah, a chill type of monkey.
a chill monkey.
Um, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I think maybe some of the motivation that I had in life changed a little bit, maybe
Mm.
since I met my partner.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I feel like that connects to it. But
oh
that's a
yeah.
good question. I'll have to think about that.
All right. If you
What
come up with
made
an
me a
answer,
monkey?
huh?
Yeah. What made me a monkey?
Yeah. I honestly, for me, it's like whatever my mood is in. I don't think I could ever pin this question down. So people usually turn the question back on me, and I'm like, like
I'm
what mood am I
wondering
in right
too.
now? Yeah. So I could be
You don't
anything.
know?
Yeah. No.
It could be anything.
You put me like if you had caught me earlier, I was like laying on my deck thinking, and I fell asleep in the sun, and I would have like if you would hit me right then, I said I'm a lizard. I'm lounging in the sun. Like that's what I'm doing right now. But then you'd talk like I'm a toucan or something that chats a lot because I love to chat. You know
Ah.
what I mean? I could be I don't know,
For me, it might be more constant. I would say that I have some dog qualities too.
like a loyal.
Yeah. Like loyalty.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Really
I think
loyal to my friends and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You and me both. I feel you on that. See, we could be anything.
Yeah.
I love that question because it brings up a whole bunch of different stuff like that. All right, what is something that you say to yourself, I can't believe I've done that or I did that?
I can't believe that I did that.
It could be positive, it could be negative. Like I one time threw like me saying that I worked at Nintendo. I can't believe I did that because where I grew up in a small beach bum town, no one I know was going to work at Nintendo. And I didn't think I was going to work at Nintendo. I just stumbled into life and then was like, oh shit, there's an opportunity. Take that.
Wow. I might have a few to come up. Um,
You can say as many as you want.
I can't believe that I just moved that I found myself in the United States without even like the intention of moving. I
Well, what brought.
accidentally moved to the United States.
So, where did you move from and how did you move here and what happened?
So I'm originally from Israel.
Yep.
Very controversial these days.
Yes.
Um, but about 12 years ago, I was dating this guy, and he's Israeli American, and we fell in love. And he relocated to the United States and to San Francisco, and he invited me to come visit him. And I came to visit, and we ended up getting married.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and so I found myself in San Francisco.
Was
And
it.
I'm a software engineer, so for my career, it was a great
Oh,
move.
gosh, you couldn't have landed in a better place.
But yeah, I wasn't planning for it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go visit this guy, but it turned out to be this thing, and yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Well, it's awesome that you're here because we get to meet,
I know that we
right?
get to do this. Yeah.
So my wife is from America, but she studied abroad, and we had a bit of a fling, and we both thought, "Oh, that's fun. You're in America, and I'm in Australia," and I was like a paycheck to paycheck idiot, and then she left after 4 months of dating after her studying abroad, and then I was like in tears, sad, and I was like, why she was still traveling around after. I was like, can we make this work? And then we
Oh,
did it for long distance for a year and a half, and then she moved there, I moved here, we moved back there,
long distance Australia, the US?
oh yeah,
Oh, wow. Wait,
not
was
even
she
just
on the West Coast?
Australia, on the west coast. So
West Coast is better than East Coast Australia.
for
But
timing,
yeah,
yeah,
for time
but for
zones, yeah.
traveling,
Oh no. Oof, oof.
oh god, it's killer.
Australia to anywhere is we have a few people on the team from Australia,
Oh yeah,
and when we try to get together, it's kind of rough because they have to
yeah.
travel for 30 hours, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. We've done it a bunch of times back and forth, and now you're used to it. Like my kids have done it a few times, and so when I travel like from Seattle to like LA, for say, I'll forget to put my headphones in because some of the times when I'm traveling long distance, I'll be like, I don't want to put my headphones in until I like am bored out of my mind. I need something because I'll be like, oh, and then they'll be like, oh, you're landing, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's right, okay. Because once you've done that distance, you're just like, it's nothing.
Yeah. No, that distance is, yeah, Australia is far away.
Do you get to
Uh,
go back to Israel, back to your family over there often?
yeah, I was going back twice a year,
Oh
up
wow,
until, yeah, up until last time I was there was July, up
yep,
until the war started,
yep,
and now it's been a while. It's been since July.
yep.
I'm really hoping that I get to see my family in June. We organized a family get together in Greece before the war
Oh
started,
yeah, yeah. Greece
and
is one
it's
of my
it.
like places I really want to go to.
Oh, Greece is fantastic, and I really, really hope it's gonna happen. But everything there is so fluid and
Yeah,
changing every day, and flights are getting canceled all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I'm like really
Fingers
hoping.
crossed. So who's over there for you? Mum, dad, sisters, cousins?
My entire family.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, my parents, my sister, my brother, my nephews, and my niece.
yeah.
We're a small family, but yeah, that's my entire family.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh.
yeah,
Well, I hope you guys get to meet up in June or July.
June. Really,
June.
really hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too. Okay. Who is your go-to person?
my fiance. Absolutely.
Okay, I feel like that.
That's not fair.
Well, that's hard because my wife is like I've said this in other podcasts. I feel like I need to word this question differently. Oh, and don't worry, the questions change every season. But your go-to person is usually your partner. But who do you talk to your partner? You get what I mean? Like, so I got
Who do
my
I
best
say?
mate Sparkles. People won't be able to see. I got a tattoo. His name
Ah,
here. He's got my name there. But I could call him up right now and be like, "Hey, mate, I need to talk about some heavy stuff." Or I could call him up right now and go, talk about shit and fart jokes for 5 minutes and be like, "Sucker, I'll see you later," bang, and hang up. And our worlds would not change at all. Like, there's nothing, either one, like, we're in for each other no matter what.
exactly. I have that person too. His name is Amiran, and he's my friend. He's actually Israeli, but I met him in San Francisco,
Okay.
and we we have a meme relationship.
Oh,
So lots of memes
yeah,
back and
yeah.
forth. Lots of cats. We're into cats recently. But yeah, whenever something serious comes up, or if I need to talk to someone about my partner,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
about, like, helping figure things out,
yeah.
he would be my person. And yeah, we can not talk for months and then back at it
Oh
like
God,
nothing.
I love that feeling.
I love that.
I've got like four mates that I can do that with like solidly, and I got one mate that's just we're like so super connected, uh, and it's just amazing. Like it really
It,
fills my cup when that
exactly.
happens. Yeah,
Exactly. And it's important to have those type of relationships.
yeah.
And it's so hard to make new friends these days, right?
Oh
Like,
God, so I would put that on myself sometimes because I feel like I'm so busy and I'm so good at being by myself that I don't necessarily need it. So I play a lot of pickleball,
hmm.
but where I play pickleball, so let me backtrack. I used to skateboard. Well, I still do, as you can see, but I still skateboard, but not nowhere near as much. But I consume skateboarding like it's my second job. I just love it, every single piece of it. Um, but I play pickleball a lot, and when I play pickleball, it's pickup games. So you go there, you put your paddle down, and in my little community here, I know so many people, and I can sit and have a chat with a lot of them, and I feel that takes my sort of social battery and either fills it up or makes me go, "Oh, I've done my socializing. I'm good. I'm great." So then when I have a friend
Exactly.
who's like, "Hey, you want to go catch a beer?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, let's do that." I'm like, when am I going to get a beer? I don't have time. But I'll go play pickleball for 3 hours with all these people that I half know.
Exactly, like you said, fill your cup,
Yeah.
whatever. I have a social capacity as well,
Yep.
So and I consider myself to be more of an introvert than an extrovert. So
Can
yeah,
I
that's
hear your explanation on an introvert versus an extrovert? Because my wife
my
gave me one, and it's totally different than what I thought it was. So I'll let you go.
I get hyped and inspired when I'm in just my a few close people, like a
Yep.
few close friends, or when I'm one on one, that's when I'm blooming. That's when
Yeah.
I get the most out of the conversation. I can give a lot more social energy when it's one on one, or when
Hmm.
it's even like a small group of people that I feel comfortable with. But when it's large group of people, then my social energy is way more limited, and I
Yeah.
feel like I can express myself less, and I get less out of that interaction when it's a
I
lot of people.
so I used to think I was a full on extrovert, and I thought that I was like, because I was always wanting to go out, I was always wanting to do stuff and that. But as I said before, I was always drawing still, but I didn't put two and two together. I was, my wife explained to me an introvert is someone who gets their energy by being by themselves. An extrovert gets their energy from being around a bunch of people.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh. And she goes, your drawing is your introvertness. You're happy. You could be at home for weeks and you'd be fine. But she goes, you go out there and you have the best time. You'll do all this stuff. You could be with people for 3 weeks, but then you'll hit a limit and you're like, bang, I'm done. I want to go home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Like, oh,
Your wife
oh,
is a smart woman.
uh, she's way too smart, but don't let her know that. Okay. Because I've been tricking her for almost 20 years now, so I need to keep that under wraps. It's a thin veil that I've got going on.
I hope she listens to this. That's a
She
good
doesn't
one.
listen to these podcasts. She has to hear me talk enough as it is. I have to do some sort of
It's
magic over
enough.
her at night. Stay with me. You're too good looking and smart.
Brilliant.
All right. What's an unspoken rule that you love or that you hate? And if you need an example, I can give one.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so an unspoken rule. When you're walking around people, and let's say you're in a mall and you accidentally have to sort of squeeze by them, I don't like when people don't say excuse me or thank you for like getting out of
You
the
don't
way.
like it?
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't like it when they. That's a double negative. It annoys me when they don't say thank you for like
Oh,
if you get out of the way or that like where just little adjustments and you're like oh thanks that like I guess manners are a big thing for me. I think growing up in Australia like they're really
yeah.
um really important, like not that it's important every bit, but that's just one of the little things for me. Or a handshake, if someone shakes your hand and it's a sloppy handshake or a too tight of a handshake. Or this one really bothers me, if I walk into a room and there's, let's say, three guys and three girls, and I walk into a room, or let's say another male walked into the room, and they shake the three guys' hands, but then they just say hi to the girls, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. We're all human here. Like, we're all people. Hello, 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 hello. And I shake their hands. If I know them, it might be different handshakes. It might be a kiss on the cheek and stuff like that. But heck, some of my mates, I might kiss them on the cheek and be a smartass with them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, those are
it's
good
what
examples. You're all
once you.
about the manners.
I am. It actually drives me insane with my kids when they don't use them.
That's a good parenting there. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
but I'm annoyed a lot, so that's the problem. Every one of these grey hairs is from my kids not using manners. That's just from today. So out of those examples, is there anything that comes to mind?
yeah, actually, just talking about manners first, coming from Israel, it's not, it doesn't exist that much.
Manners don't
So,
exist in a zero.
mm, people there are rushed. It's a high tense. place, right?
Yep.
Everything is very tense all the time, even before the war. It's a
Yep.
tense place. It's a warm place. The Israeli culture is really tense, you can say.
Okay.
So there's no. I remember being super surprised coming to San Francisco for the first time and going in the supermarket, and I just passed with my cart next to a woman. We didn't even clash, we didn't even touch, and she's like, "Oh, excuse me," and I was like, "Oh, people say excuse me for these type of things here.
Oh
That's
wow.
interesting." Or I was mind blown. My mind was blown where when I realized that people are standing in line for waiting for the bus.
Oh.
That was like mind blowing. Like, why are you standing in line when the bus is not here even? In Israel, even if the bus is there, everybody's just it's a triangle,
Oh
not a
yeah.
line. It's more like
Yeah.
everybody's trying to get in. No one waits for the person that is inside to get out. Everybody's
Oh
just
wow.
going in. Yeah. So you wouldn't survive there
I wouldn't.
then. You
No, I
wouldn't be
wouldn't. I would just be like, please stop. Everyone, just say thank you. I get pissed off of old ladies if they drive past, like, and I get out of the way for them and they don't wave. In my mind, I'm like, fuck you, old bird. Wave next time.
So going in that route, I do have a pet peeve if say we go together to an event and we're friends, right? And you meet a bunch of people and you just, hey George, hey Danny, and you just let me stand there without
Oh yeah.
immediately introduce me. That's a pet peeve of
Uh,
mine.
the
Or
only
when
time, the only time I think that's acceptable is when you don't know one of their names and you're like,
names
oh
and
hey, oh, and then you're like, please jump in and ask the name because I can't remember.
yeah, but then you can always go like, hey, this is my friend Ellie, and I would
Oh
go,
yeah.
hi, I'm Ellie, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. That's what I
and then
try
you
and do as
get
well. I do it to my wife all the time. I'll be like, "Oh, this is my Mrs. Jillian," and then she knows. Oh, he doesn't know the name, and then she gets in there.
that's a code name. Nice, I like
Yeah.
that. Another one is, and I get this mostly with, used to get that mostly with men, and I can somehow get where it's coming from. But when we sit together with a group of people and, or with one other person, say you and me are meeting another person, and when we're both talking, we're both asking questions, we're both part of the conversation, but they're only looking at you.
uh,
They don't look at me.
yeah.
And had that happen multiple times, usually with men, I have to say, just
Like
from my
men to
experience.
men speaking. Okay.
Yeah, so we would be with another man
Yeah.
and would have a conversation, but he would only look at you.
Yeah.
Like even if he's answering my questions, he would look at
Oh
you.
God, that would be
Um,
frustrating.
yeah, so that's I run into that so many times.
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
must be. Do you now that you are the head of Pocket Cast? How do you deal with that stuff while you're the head of this? Like, do you find that that still happens at the level you're at, or do you like, oh no, like now people know that I come in and I'm the head, and they know I'm the
It
big wig.
it can still happen, you know.
Yep,
I'm not, we met at Podcast Movement in
yep,
a semi-professional environment, right? I'm
yep,
not, I don't think I'm projecting, hey, I'm a big shot, like professional. We're all very friendly.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I felt that's the way I am. What you see is what you get.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
actually myself in every interaction. I'm myself if it's
yeah,
my
yeah.
friends. So I don't think people get that head of attitude from me. So
Mm,
yes, a lot of time in professional environments as well, I get talking with a male colleague and another person, and that person will just talk to my male colleague,
yep.
or just look at them, when they're responding. So
I am sorry, my battery's about to run out, but I don't know why. Hang on one sec. On my
noise
computer. Eesh. Let's see if we can get it. I'll edit this part
power
out. I'm sorry for that. On
problems.
the part that I'm meant to be listening to because I'm a male, and then I get distracted by.
Perfect timing,
I
Maddie.
God. I was thinking, I was like, oh no. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ignoring you 1 sec. I was like, no, it's got like a red bar here. And I'm like, don't end right now.
I was like, oh, if that would end it, that would have been even worse, I think.
I should have just
Right?
ended the recorded just for the joke. And then had a part 2 for the next one. God, I felt so bad. I'm like sweating now because I was like, please don't let this go.
Perfect timing.
Oh, God. I can't believe that. So, well, it's funny. When we met, I thought you had another podcast. And then when we started chatting, and I was like, oh, I think I was like, oh, what do you do? What's your role in the podcast world? Because some people were producers down there, and then you're like, oh, I run Pocket Cast. And I was like, oh, wow, that's exciting. I was excited because I was like, oh, someone's doing something that is
Other
than a podcast, and then also not just pitching, not pitching, but like another podcast that like, oh, you should listen and let's do this. Like, you get what I mean? It was an interesting viewpoint in the podcast world.
after a couple of weeks after Jared from Podcast Movement organized a meetup in Vegas for a bunch of podcasters because it was. Are you familiar with NAB, the conference, the National Broadcasting Conference in Vegas?
No, of course.
Oh,
not.
another conference that I mentioned. Sorry,
here we
Maddie.
go. Let me write down another note that I have to feel stupid about.
It's a free one. It's free access. So so it was happening in Vegas, and Jared organized a meetup, and I was like, podcasters in Vegas? So I'm gonna show up, and I felt kind of like an outsider. Everybody's like, so what's your podcast? And then I have to say, oh, I don't have a podcast. I'm actually the head of Pocket Cast. And to my surprise, usually when I said that, people react like you did or like Shannon did, where they're like, oh, Pocket Cast, we love Pocket Cast. It's our favorite podcast player. But there, for some reason, people were not very familiar with Pocket Cast. So they're like, Pocket Cast? Yes, it's the best podcast player. And then I felt like I'm selling it, but
now you feel like
pitching.
You have to pitch it,
but I don't usually pitch to podcasters. I go on with podcasters. We want to just promote podcasters on the platform. That's why we have Emmeline, our content curator, and she picks up really interesting and maybe even not as familiar podcasts to promote them and to feature them on our platform. That's what we want to do with podcasters, but I didn't feel like I wanted to pitch or to sell Pocket Caster. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that's a hard thing because you're like, I want to be here. I want to be supportive. I want to be in the mix of the community, but I also don't want to feel like I'm pitching or being always pitched to. You know what I mean? Like, how do you find that balance? That'd be really tough.
It's interesting. What I usually do with podcasters is I tell them about our Discover page and the opportunities that we have there for your podcast to be featured, and I share our partner newsletter so they can join it, and we post about once a month, and we share curation opportunities. So if you have a new season coming up and you want us to feature you, so you can submit your podcast and we'll look into it. Really feel like it's important to promote margin podcasters where, you might not get that opportunity on Spotify or Apple.
So on that note, for people like me who have an up and coming podcast, what are ways that you've seen from an outside perspective, and also from a perspective of someone who sees podcasts grow outside of, like, when you're in it, it's hard because you're so insular. What are things that some podcasters could do to help grow their audience?
I think frequency is important. You have to, like any other platform, any other social media, you have to post. You have to create content. And there's probably a line where if you're not a daily format, if you're not a news podcast and you're doing it on a daily basis, it might be too much. But every week for sure, or start some sort of cycle to have your audience expect,
Yeah.
and
I do every two
newsletters help a
weeks.
lot. Every 2 weeks, yeah,
Yeah.
as long
It's
as you
just
have
with
that
the
cadence,
illustration and then having to edit everything. It's just so hard to try and get.
it takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just a matter of regular cadence and keeping that going, having newsletters or
Oh,
just
newsletters.
promoting yeah, that's super helpful. And pushing your content on social media. It's a
Yep.
lot of work, isn't it? It's a
God, it's
lot of
too
work.
much work. It is too much work. I will say this: if mine was making any sum of money, I think that I would just be like, no, this is great. I'm 100% in. But because I'm having to do other jobs and stuff like that, and then do this stuff as well,
It's not your main, yeah.
yeah, and so it's hard to. Um, Sometimes you're a bit burnt out from like just being tired in general, and you're like, oh man, I've got to get in there and like the editing of a video is not my favorite part, but I know that it's got to be done. So I'm like, all right, let me get in there. The illustration part, I'm like, let's go. I'm super excited about it. But
Nice.
you've got to also like trying to find like what social media to post. Have you heard of Opus Clips?
Mm-mm.
So with
What is
like a
that?
video podcast, you can run it through like a AI generator that pumps out all these like 60-second clips for you.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if there's one for audio. I'm sure there is, but I pump out a bunch of those and then I put them up so there's like a visual for people to use, and that helps out a lot. But also, it doesn't give that personal touch that I think that podcasts need. So then I still have to, on top of that, find
Edit.
yeah, or not edit it, but like find gaps in between the posts where I can post something personal, but not feel like I'm flooding the 5 people that follow me anyway. You know what I mean?
And do clips work? Is that something that is inspiring people to listen to the full episode?
So I would say they do, but because I'm doing video and podcast at the same time. There is a definite audience that if you were a podcast listen and you listen to it, then you will listen to it on like Apple, Spotify, Pocket Cast, like those things. But if you are like a YouTuber or like someone that's on YouTube a lot, you'll listen to it there. So when I put it out there, it's very like I have to make sure I put it out there directly to that one, and that will give it a
Hmm,
spike. So
gotcha.
I have to go like, okay, today is a Apple Podcast day. Tomorrow's a YouTube day. The next day is a Spotify day, and I'll start throwing into the mix next time it's a Pocket Cast day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're gonna come up really soon with clip sharing on Pocket Cast.
Oh, cool.
So
Oh yeah.
you'll be able to share clips from your podcast on Pocket Cast.
Will you guys generate the clips, or will the people generate the clips?
You'll be able to choose the clip,
Yeah.
but we're not automatically generating
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
for you. You choose the length of the clip,
Uh,
and yeah,
That would be interesting though if you guys if you guys automatically chose the clip and said you could edit it
you'd
there.
prefer that.
I think because it's just time. But on top of that, if it was just audio, it would be interesting if then you guys gave it a B roll with their like logo in it. Like so, like if you're like,
Mm,
oh, this is a AI generated clip. So like here's the words, and then on top of that, then oh, this is about not being a cat anymore and being a monkey. And might pull up 2 images of those, and like it's blending between them, sort of thing. That might be a way to sort of like because when
fine.
you're looking at the visual, if you're going through Instagram, you get the audio, and you might be like, oh, that's cool to listen to. Oh, I'm just looking at a couple of lines going up and down. You know what I mean?
Right,
But if you
right.
got
You
something
need
that's sort
you
of like,
need more.
yeah, for that
Yeah.
attention grabbing stuff, the dopamine drop that everyone needs.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
10 seconds of attention that you get.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Um,
smart.
all right, so here we are. Last 2 questions.
Yes.
What are 3 things that you were grateful for?
Sorry to keep saying that, but my partner.
That's because it's so new. Like, yeah, like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm very grateful for
You're
my
like,
wife.
after
Yeah.
how long have you guys been together?
We've been together. My wife just turned 40, and I met her when she was 20. So we've been together 20 years.
20 years.
I know. I don't seem like someone that could have a 20-year relationship. I can tell you that. But somehow I've
Wow.
pulled it off against all odds.
Yeah. So you might be right. We've only been together for 5 years, but it sounds like you feel the same about your wife. So,
I definitely feel there's definitely been ups and downs, and I think that, and I'm sure in 5 years you guys have had a few
yeah,
ups and downs
absolutely.
there, and like it's how you get through them. If you've got your, I think the reason my wife and I work because we are very different people. Like I'm very messy, and she's very very clean. I'm very creative, and she's very logical. And so, but we work together because we have the same sort of like moral core, and so but what's the thing that works for us is that I have her like I want her best interests and she wants my best interests as well. And then if I'm not picking up the slack on
Gold.
my end, which happens more than I would like to admit, I then once we have a discussion or an argument or whatever it is, and then I'm like, hang on, let's readjust and like let's I've got to figure out to make my wife happy as well. And then same on her end. She's like, okay, I've been a bit whatever way it is, and then we find that middle ground, and then we're like, oh, okay, now we're back into the swing of things. We've found that sort of again.
Yeah, so sound like a successful relationship. Good for you, you
Successful for
know?
me, for her.
Not all parties involved. That's rare though. That's
Yeah,
rare. So I'm definitely grateful for my partner and our relationship and where it takes us. You know, you asked a question before. I can't believe I did that. So I have to say because I just did that. That we just went on a private flight with Al Pacino the other
what?
day. Yes, I can't believe I did that.
How?
Uh, so I'm
Like you
grateful
snuck
for
on
my
the
partner.
plane? Like, hey,
No,
we're in your luggage.
hey. So my partner is a sound engineer. He works in film.
Okay.
So he's working with Al on a few projects, or has been working with Al on a few projects recently, and they're shooting a movie in Vegas, and they had to go back to LA to do rehearsals. So they just invited him to go with them, and then they invited me to come along. I was so grateful, and so I can't believe I'm
That's
invited to
so
do this.
cool.
Yeah, so I got to fly private for the first time in my life with Al Pacino
That's a way to do
twice.
it, right? Oh my gosh! So that's how you're like, oh, hang on. My wife has flown private with her boss a couple of times, and I've had to pick her up, and it's like it's quite an experience. But then to say that I did it with Al Pacino on top of that,
And then you see, no, but seriously, it's quite an experience. You're like, how can I go back to flying like
oh
a
my
common
gosh,
person
I
after
don't
this?
know how.
Yeah.
No.
I'm grateful for him and for his job that takes us to these opportunities. I'm also grateful for my job, and it's been there. I mean, I get to work with fantastic people and talented people all across the board. You know, I don't know if you know much about Automatic, but we have many different products. We have Day One and
Oh,
Tumblr and Woo and Jetpack, and you get to have this diversity of people and from all over the world because we're a distributed company,
yeah, yeah.
and it's actually the company was started as a distributed company since 2005, you know,
Whoa,
for 20 years now. So you get to work with people from all over the world. The people on my team are from Brazil, Australia, India, Spain, the United States. It's really beautiful, and I get a lot from my job, not just from working on the product and working on Pocket Cast and talking to people like you and meeting people like you, but also from my team and from other people at Automatic. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And you said three things, so I have to say the third one is my health and being alive. being healthy and alive. I don't take that for granted, especially since October. Just, I it could have been me. I could have been out there. It could have happened to me, but I'm here and I'm free and I'm alive. So
Yeah.
I don't take that for granted at all.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah.
that's a big one that comes up is people's health of being grateful. I eat too poorly to really say I'm grateful for my health because if I was, I'd eat better. But and I'd probably do
But you're
yoga.
not willing to give that up.
I do for about half a day, and then I'm like, hey, look at me, hey, and then
I'm
some
healthy. I
yeah,
can,
and then someone
yeah.
brings like a candy bar, and I'm like, oh, hey.
Yeah, so I
So
don't I don't eat fast food.
you
This
don't
is
eat fast
one
food?
of it's a rule. Yeah, some people
No.
go on a road trip and they have to get that in and out. I don't have that feeling. I just don't.
I'm not jealous of many things in my life, but I'm actually so jealous of that. So I feel like if I
Yeah.
didn't have that, I would be super healthy. I'd be like jacked, drawn to the store. Hey,
Is it fast food for you? That's your
fast food, sweet food. I'm
hmm.
better now. My wife makes me better. She holds me accountable. I'm very sneaky. I'm very very sneaky. I don't want. She won't listen to this, so she's not going to know. But yes, I'm very sneaky. I try and be better. I try and be better. I am better. I have definitely slimmed down a little bit, but I'm still bloody sneaky.
Good thing that she's not listening to
Yeah,
this.
nah. you you think the one that loves you most would support you the most? No, she's like, that's your thing. Please stop talking to me.
I hear you enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
she has to hear all the stuff on the back end. All right, Ellie. Last question.
yes.
You have to wear a T-shirt with a slogan on it for a year. What does it say?
That's a really good one. I'm like looking at my t-shirt right now. I'm wearing Transistor FM t-shirt. I love Justin and Company. But slogan, it would be probably live and let live. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, live and let live. People don't anymore. It's I don't know what happened to us, but maybe I spend too much time on social media. I don't know. But people don't. They have an opinion about other people and what other people are doing all the time, and usually those are like uh, cruel opinions.
oh yeah. I
People can be so cruel towards each other. Just
I
like yeah,
I feel you.
live.
I
Yeah,
feel you.
live and let live.
I love that. So I used to, when I really get bummed, I would just go to YouTube and put like the best of humanity and just run it over while I draw, and then I'd just hear what they're saying, but then I'd also just be able to look and be like, oh, that person saved a cat. Oh, that person ran into a burning building and saved that family. Like, and I
That's
just,
I should do that. I
yeah,
should
it
do
makes me
that.
feel so much better about humanity because there's sometimes where I'm like, man, that government's fighting that government, and all these people underneath have to fight, and it's not them that suffer; it's everyone underneath. And then I'm
Exactly.
there's so many other things that go on, like the racism and all that. I'm just like, please, like it doesn't matter. We're a speck in this universe. Like literally, our planet doesn't matter that much in the universe. And we, as humans, are just fleas on the back of this planet. As soon as we're out, that their planet's going to be like, oh, great, it's been a million years. Now I've got dinosaurs again. We're going to have
Exactly.
cowboy dinosaurs next time. I don't know.
Cowboy dinosaurs.
I, but who
I just
knows?
sometimes I wait for the aliens to come. It's
Ah,
already been acknowledged that there are aliens out there. So for them to come and maybe we as a species will unite just because there's someone else, something else that we can
do you
be
know,
against, you know?
I thought about that, and that makes me think of the movie. Oh, dang. It's called Watchmen. Have you seen
Watch
that
it.
one?
Mm-mm.
With it's based in the 80s, and like these superheroes that have passed their prime, but then they're starting to kill off the other superheroes starting to die. But anyway, the whole point is one of the superheroes is frames one of these main superheroes, and then the main superhero is this big blue thing that does this, like super smart, does this calculation, goes, oh, this world's only going to survive if you've got an outside thing to point at that it might come and get you, and I'm the thing that you need to point at. And I'm like,
Exactly.
that's so sad, but that's kind of true. But then also, if aliens come and they're as smart as they are to travel light years away, and you think they're going to putter along in some little like VW bus, like spaceship version? Oh, we just need some fuel, guys. Let us plug in. No, they're going to come in like a massive ship that can travel super fast and be like, oh, you guys look delicious. Honk. We'll be done.
So maybe then we will unite.
For the 5 seconds that we survive, we're like, yeah, we're all good together. Honk.
Let's fight together against them. Forget about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they've all got, the aliens have got it sorted out, and they come and be like, ding, now you guys don't have any problems.
Or maybe they're peaceful and they're like, they can brainwash us, but for the good.
Yeah. Why doesn't anyone brainwash for the good?
Yeah, exactly. Why does
Let's get into the brainwashing business, but only for the good.
For the good.
Yeah, let's run a cult that's only for the good.
You started that with you have a good idea there with the videos, with the YouTube videos for good humanity. Like that's just something, like the how do you call that movie? The Mechanical Orange, or
Ancient Orange, is that what it's called?
Something where they have the scene where they
open. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that, but for stuff. The good.
Yeah. Exactly. So everyone's just hugging everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. No awkward hugs anymore where you walk in like, I know this person well enough. You're like, everyone's hugging. It doesn't matter.
Like from a good place.
I'm with you. Well, Ellie, I appreciate your time. Now we've solved the world.
I know. That's all we needed.
That's all we needed. In a couple of weeks, I'll have an illustration out for you, and I'll have this edited, and I'll send you out all the links for it and all that stuff. I appreciate your time so much. This has been a blast.
Thank you so much. Same.
I can't wait to stay in contact and see how your London trip goes and all that sort of stuff. So
we'll let you know. Thank you so much, Mary.
All right. See you later.
Bye.